As we just started a new year, it's time to do my annual contribution to my Fidelity Backdoor Roth IRA. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do this. But before we get started, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor or tax professional, and this video is made for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please consult with your licensed financial or tax professional before making a decision to perform a Backdoor Roth IRA. Now, I first want to give you some background about my basic retirement strategy, as that's going to give you some context about why you may want to consider doing a Backdoor Roth IRA yourself. My retirement strategy consists of the 3-bucket strategy as popularized by the Money Guy Show, which, by the way, is an excellent resource on financial topics. Basically, their 3-bucket strategy for retirement is to distribute your retirement savings into 3 different buckets. The first bucket is your tax-deferred bucket. These are your 401ks, your 403bs, and traditional IRAs where you don't pay taxes on contributions or on capital gains up front, but you do pay taxes upon withdrawing these funds later in life. The second bucket is your tax-free bucket, and this includes Roth accounts like Roth 401ks, Roth 403bs, and Roth IRAs. With these accounts, you contribute after-tax money, which can grow tax-free, and gains are tax-free upon withdrawals as well. There's also an account called the Health Savings Account, or HSA, which I consider to be a part of the tax-free bucket, even though, because it's triple tax advantaged, it has characteristics of both the tax-deferred and the tax-free buckets. The last bucket is the after-tax bucket, and that would include any taxable brokerage accounts. Using these 3 buckets, if you establish and contribute to all of them throughout your life, you get to control what you pay in taxes in retirement. And for me, the Roth IRA is my main retirement account in my tax-free bucket, but I can't contribute directly to my Roth IRA, and let me explain why. Because tax-free accounts like Roth IRAs are so powerful with that tax-free growth, there are limits placed on these types of accounts. And these limits come in the form of income limits and contribution limits. In 2023, in order to do a full contribution to a Roth IRA, your modified adjusted gross annual income must be under $138,000 as a single filer and under $218,000 if married and filing jointly. And the contribution limits are $6,500 if you're under age 50 and $7,500 if you're age 50 or older. Since my income is over this $138,000 limit as a single filer, I can't contribute to my Roth IRA directly, so I have to do a Backdoor Roth instead. I want to mention again to consult a financial or tax professional before seeing if this is the right choice for you, but this strategy is not an option for you if you have other funded IRAs, such as another traditional IRA, SEP IRA, or simple IRA. This is because to avoid further tax complications with the pro rata rule, all pre-tax accounts must show $0 by the end of the tax year that you perform the Roth conversion. But it's important to note that 401ks and 403bs are not included, so if you have those, you should be okay. Inherited IRAs also don't apply to this rule. Okay, so now that we understand what a Backdoor Roth IRA is and why you might consider doing one, let's get into how I contribute to my tax-free bucket. Of course, we're going to be using Fidelity to contribute to these accounts, but I also want to mention that I saved the entire contribution for my Roth IRA and HSA throughout the previous year, so that in January of the current year, I can do the maximum contribution both to my Roth IRA and HSA at once. And I save this money by using a strategy called Pay Yourself First. With this strategy, every month I set aside a percentage of my total income into a savings account before budgeting out the remainder of my expenses for the month. So I calculate the entire amount I'll need to save for my Roth IRA and HSA and make sure that money is saved up by December 31st. And for 2023, the maximum Roth IRA contribution is $6,500, and the maximum HSA contribution for self-only health coverage is $3,850. So I saved a total of $10,350 by the end of 2022. Okay, so now let's hop on over to the computer so I can show you how I perform a Backdoor Roth IRA. So I use 3 accounts to perform the strategy: a Fidelity Roth IRA, a Fidelity Traditional IRA, and a Fidelity Cash Management account. You really only need the IRAs, but I've started to use the system with 3 accounts since I can transfer money into the cash management account first, and since the money is now in a Fidelity account, the clearance times after depositing money into my traditional IRA is quicker and more straightforward than if I were to transfer it from an outside bank. I also have my HSA at Fidelity, so I can do all these contributions on one dashboard, which makes this process really simple and convenient. So this is a diagram of how this process is going to work. In late December, I transferred $10,350 from my bank into my Fidelity Cash Management account. And then I'm going to transfer the maximum contributions of $3,850 into my HSA, as well as a $6,500 non-deductible contribution into my traditional IRA. Once the money clears my traditional IRA, I finally perform a Roth conversion from that $6,500 in my traditional IRA to my Roth IRA, which will complete the Backdoor Roth IRA process. So because of how I structure these accounts, my cash management account and traditional IRA essentially sit empty the entire year until I'm ready to contribute to my HSA and Roth IRA. And since both accounts don't have any minimum balance requirements, I'm happy to keep both of these accounts open. So now that we've gone through an overview of this process, let's jump back into my Fidelity account to see this process step by step. Okay, so here we are back in my Fidelity account, and you can see that I have a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, cash management account, and HSA. And these are the accounts that I'll be using. The traditional IRA and cash management account are both at $0, and I'm first going to transfer my saved cash into the cash management account. Okay, so now I just transferred money from my high yield savings account into my cash management account, and you can see that I transferred in $10,350. So it's going to take about a day or so to clear, but because I transferred this money in late December, I'm just going to leave that money in there until after the new year. So let's come back on January 1st to continue this process. Okay, so now it's January 1st, 2023, and you can see that the cash management account now has $10,356.21, and that's because the money in the account accrued some interest since we first put that money in. So let's go ahead and first transfer $38.50 into my HSA. Okay, so now that's done. You can see my cash management account balance is $6,506.21, and so now let's do the first step of the Backdoor Roth IRA process. To perform a Backdoor Roth IRA, the first thing you want to do is click on this button on the top left here that says Transfer. This will take you to the Move Money page, which will ask you which account you'd like to move the money from and which account you'd like to move the money to. So under which account you want to move money from, we'll select Cash Management. Then under Where will the money be transferred to, we'll select Traditional IRA. The next box that will pop up will ask for additional transfer details. Here on the screen, it'll ask you for the amount that you want to transfer. You can also see on the bottom that it tells you the annual contribution limit for a traditional IRA in 2023, how much you've contributed, and how much contribution is remaining, which is helpful in case you want to do multiple transfers into your IRA throughout the year. Since we're going to do this all in one contribution, we'll put in $6,500, which is the maximum contribution, and click Continue. The last step in the process is to verify your transfer details, and once you're satisfied, click Submit, and you'll be met with the confirmation page. Going back to the home screen, you'll see that the traditional IRA balance has been updated to reflect the transferred amount of $6,500. Okay, so now it's going to take a couple of days for the money to clear in the account. So we're going to wait a couple of days first, and then come back to do the second step of the Backdoor Roth IRA process. Okay, so now it's been a few days, and the money has been cleared in my traditional IRA. I know this because when I click Positions, I can see this screen here that shows my $6,500 deposit in a core position. And in my traditional IRA, this position is set to an FDIC insured deposit sweep, which is the core position you want to have when doing a Backdoor Roth IRA. In my experience, if this core position is set to something else, for example SPAXX, which I think is the default mutual fund option for new accounts, you'll be unable to do a Roth conversion. So if your core position is not a FDIC insured deposit sweep, here's how you change it. Click on your core position and then click this green button that appears below that says Change Core Position. And this is the pop-up screen where you can change your core position. For the purposes of this video, we don't need to go into the differences between all of these options, but just know that your core position must be in an FDIC insured deposit sweep to do a Roth conversion. So on my screen here, I'm already in an FDIC position, so I have SPAXX and FDRXX as options, but your screen may look different depending on what your core position is already set to. Whatever the case, make sure that your core position is on the FDIC option. And just so you know, if you do end up changing your core position, it'll take another day or two for that core position to update and for your funds to clear again. So once we've confirmed that our funds are cleared and in an FDIC insured deposit sweep core position, we can go ahead with the second step of the Backdoor Roth IRA process, which is to do a Roth conversion from our traditional IRA into our Roth IRA. To do this, again, we're going to click on the top left button here that says Transfer. We'll want to move money from our traditional IRA and then transfer this money into our Roth IRA. Fidelity will then inform us about tax withholding, and because I don't want to use money in my Roth IRA to pay taxes early, I'm just going to click this box here stating that I understand that I'll likely have to pay taxes later, and then I'll click Continue. Note that if you do a Backdoor Roth and convert all traditional IRA contributions for the taxable year into a Roth IRA, have no capital gains on this contribution, and have no other funds in other IRAs at the end of the year, your expected taxes on this conversion should be $0, which is why the Backdoor Roth IRA is such a great strategy to use if you can't contribute to this account directly. The next screen will ask you if you'd like to do a full conversion, and since I contribute to my IRA once a year, I'm going to click Transfer All of My Account. It will then ask you if you want to keep your traditional IRA open. And for me, I definitely want to keep this account open because I want to do this Backdoor Roth basically every year for the rest of my life if I can. So I'll click keep this account open, then I'll click continue. This will then bring us to the final page where we'll confirm that we're transferring all the money from our traditional IRA into a Roth IRA. And once we're happy with this, we can click submit, which will bring us to the final confirmation page. And so that's how you perform a Backdoor Roth IRA with Fidelity. Let me know if you have any other questions concerning this in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you like this video, check out this video on my channel next about what I think is the best no annual fee credit card setup that can help you save money on your everyday purchases.